So in this video we're going to look now at how we start to dashboard and display some of the data that we've now got into SignalK. So one of the apps that I've been using is KIP. KIP should be installed by default, but to check that, if you head to the App Store, click on Installed and have a look in the installed apps, you should see mxtommy/KIP. If it isn't installed, then you need to head to the available apps in the App Store and select and download the app. Once installed, head to KIP. When this first starts, there'll be some demo data already in the system, and these widgets on the screen here will be displaying various bits of data. The first thing you're going to need to do is to link that to your SignalK installation, and to do that you need to click down here on the right hand side. Go to Configuration and Settings. You need to change this API to your SignalK install. I would recommend using localhost instead of the Pi's IP address. So here, if you change this to http://localhost:3000, that should then link to your SignalK installation. The other thing you're going to have to do is the token. So you'll send a server token here by clicking this button, and this will allow you to save your configuration. Once you've done that, come back onto here, go to Security, Access Requests, and you'll see the access request in there. You need to approve that. Once that's done, the two are then linked. That'll then allow you to save your configuration on this page here. So now that you're starting to receive some live data from SignalK, you can then graph it. So if we create a new page, first of all we need to edit the layout, and then we can add a page. You can split the page by using this button on this side. You can split horizontally or vertically, and each time you split that, it'll split the screen as selected. This button on the right hand side allows you to choose what widget you're going to use. So you've got a number of options here. They all work in a very similar way. So we'll choose a gauge, click Confirm. Now you get a middle settings button. Click on that, enter a display name. You can then decide how the data is displayed and the minimum and maximum values. You can also pick a colour. There's only 3 colours to pick from, but it might help to group gauges and display more important information. Next, you need a path. You can either click or you can start to type your path. For this one, I'm going to choose the humidity sensor. So this picks up the key that we set in SignalK. This is my default data source. If there could be more, but for me there's just one. And this is very useful to for changing different units. These are automatically convert to the unit type you select. Very good for changing from Kelvin to Celsius, for example. And the gauge now shows the data as it does in the data browser, but in a graphical form. If we want to add another one, we can split this vertically or horizontally, and we just repeat the process. Settings button. Select the SignalK path, and this time we're going to convert from Kelvin to Celsius. Once you're happy, you can then lock the configuration and the settings are saved. To save this permanently, if you go back to configuration and then into the settings, configuration, and save config to server. There's also an option here for historical data. You can choose an interval and a number of data points. However, once you refresh or move off the page, that data is then lost. So it's good for 10 to 15 seconds, but not so good for hours worth. I'll do a video later showing another way of bringing historical data into KIP.